let's talk to Brandon in Tennessee. Pronouns are he, him. Says county is attacking a club enemy over LGBTQ presenting students. I assume that's supposed to be. So, Brandon, you are live on the line with Arden and Lux. What's going on?
Hi, Arden. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Okay, so long story short here, I live in a county in Tennessee, of course. I'm a teacher. And basically, I had a club, and that club was a tabletop gaming club. And it was mainly made up of LGBTQ plus people. Mm-hmm. And eventually what had happened was they decided just to start attacking me. And eventually my contract wasn't renewed. I went through all kinds of stuff. And basically what happened was I threatened to sue them and get the Department of Justice involved, and they had me arrested.
Wow.
So, yeah. So this is no joke. The rights are going away. I'm maybe a cis white guy. I'm just a guy. I'm not trans or anything. I'm just a regular old white guy. And this county is the most corrupt place I've ever seen. And they basically ended my career because I teach physics and math, but I have degrees in, upper physics and stuff. And it pretty much ruined my career and everything. And I'm thinking, what do? I can't protect these student rights. That's what I was trying to do. And apparently they're like, oh, you want to try to protect the rights? We'll just put you in jail.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah.
I'm a little bit curious. You mentioned like they attacked you and they arrested you. Is they like the school board or who is they exactly?
Yeah, it was the SRO that literally delivered a thing to me, banning me from the property. And then the next day I was arrested.
Wow.
And that was because of your, you have a TTRPG club, like you have a tabletop gaming club that happens to have a lot of queer students in it. And you're just like trying to stand up for them. And they're just like, we're going to fire you. That's crazy.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I was trying to fight for them. See, we had all kinds of fundraisers. I stayed after school, and I played Magic. We gathering with them, whatever. We did everything, and we had a bunch of money that had come in, and they wouldn't let the students spend it the way they wanted it. And I said, no, that's their money. And then they're like, well, they don't have to know why they're not allowed to spend money. I'm like, these are not kindergartners. These are high schoolers. They earn the money. They deserve to be able to spend the money. Mm-hmm. And it was just one thing after another. Like they just fought me tooth and nail.
Wow.
I don't know if you've talked to the ACLU. I also know, I don't know if it's A4TE or if it's like in a partner organization that handles a lot of like trans specific like human rights violations. So it might be worth contacting an organization like this. I think you would probably have pretty good standing to make a case that would get like funded by, one of these organizations. So it might be worth looking into that. But yeah, I mean, this is fascism. This is why we're talking about the need for community outside of school and things like this. Like we really need to be like person to person, neighbor to neighbor, taking care of each other, because that's the only place where we're not going to have school resource officers and, other governing bodies who are going to intervene with a teacher having a club where some students hang out and have fun, but they happen to be queer. Yeah, this is really fucked up. I'm sorry to hear about this, Brandon.
Yeah, they've got DOJ sanctions against them right now already.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's kind of surprising, honestly. Yeah. Given the currnt state of the DOJ, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, they've been sued like 7 times already because of racism. So,
okay.
And the DOJ says you make one more boo-boo and we're going to pull your funding.
Right.
Well, that might be what they're doing to me to try to make sure they don't get another boo-boo.
Sure, they just want you to kind of, as a problem, they want you to just go away instead of this being another case of them being at fault for discriminatory practices. Yeah.
It's so frustrating
because we're going to intimidate him into not, suing us, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the frustrating thing, I mean, like they construct these laws and these guidelines in such a way that is like, it's specifically made and designed to give them an out, right? So that when we say, the Republicans have, made it so that trans kids can't even participate in their after school organizations. They can go, whoa, 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 we've never passed any law like that. What do you mean? And it's like, sure, you didn't pass a law, but you walked around with your big stick in front of every single, school board saying, if we find out that you are enabling queer people in any kind of way, we're going to take your funding. And what public school isn't completely dependent on federal funding, right? So, yeah, it is. It's fucked up. This is fascism. This is what the early steps of a trans genocide are going to look like. Is things like this completely.
And see, it don't just stop there either. They wouldn't let us, sell food and stuff. And I'm like, what about the Christian organization that gives away free tater tots every morning? How are they allowed to do that, but we're not allowed to do it?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
I think you're completely right that they're just covering their ass. They're just getting rid of you in case you become a problem for the DOJ. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought I would let people know that, like, I think people don't get it. It's like, well, it's only affecting the 2%. It's like, no, it's not. It's affecting everyone. Anybody that's got a backbone, it's going to affect them because, you either going to, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Civil rights violations out the walls here, and they just don't care.
Yeah, it's true. I will say, as far as like next steps for you, Brandon, being in that situation, obviously extremely stressful. You've lost your income. You probably have people who need you to have an income, right? So I would say, like, obviously contacting the ACLU, because that is a very clear, I feel it should be pretty clear, like wrongful termination and potentially even against state law. I don't know what the law is like in Tennessee. Obviously, it's like kind of the South,
The
so
right
it
word
probably
state.
right word state. Yeah. And then also for your like potential future employment opportunities, I don't know what your level of knowledge is, but you could potentially look at private institutions like a college to see if you could potentially still have a job doing what you are good at. I know it's going to be difficult if you're used to working with like high school students, shifting into a college environment, but it seems like private institutions are going to be one of the things that we're going to have to unfortunately rely on to kind of try to protect us in that way that we were talking before a few months ago about, like, if Disney like stands up to Ron DeSantis or whatever, like these private corporations who have a moneyed interest in mind. But if the Overton window is swinging in that way where it's like it is more profitable because people will boycott if you are right wing as a company, we can hope that those private institutions are still going to hold. But again, it being Tennessee, it's going to be a little bit of a job search for you, for sure.
Yeah, I just want. So what you would suggest is maybe I thought about the ACLU. Not on my end, but like the kids' end. I just don't know how to save their. They don't even have toilet paper in the bathrooms. Like it's
wow.
Yeah, I can't get nobody to help. So maybe the ACLU is where I need to go then.
At least inquiring to see what kind of work they do and what type of case this could result in for them.
It also, you might need to start putting together some sort of like community thing to solve problems like funding for toilet paper and stuff. Because remember, Donald Trump is intending to destroy the Department of Education, like completely vaporize it. So there's going to be no real system for which schools can appeal to the federal government and be like, hey, we can't even afford toilet paper. Can we get more money? Like, so, yeah, I think these are going to need to be often, in a lot of cases, community efforts. And I think people like you are the perfect person who can be like, hey, somebody has to look out for these kids. It's got to be somebody local, collecting from local people. And I think a lot of people are willing to help out with schools and stuff like that are local to them. So hopefully that could be a good effort for you.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, too. And maybe that's what I'll have to do. But my problem is I can't reach out right now because literally I'm not allowed to post anything on social media or I go to jail. So I can't do any outreach to anybody.
Investigation. Wow. I mean, yeah, I would say, I mean, are you allowed to go to the grocery store? Because there's got to be somebody in your local community who, like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
frankly,
the
go to the
kids are
news.
behind me.
Yeah, frankly, go to the news, like local news stations, and say, like, they don't have toilet paper in these schools, and yet here they are coming after me and like doing all this, and obviously there's if they get entangled in another lawsuit, that's more money gone from the district. No wonder they can't afford all this. Like, frankly, I think kicking things up with local news stations is another thing that we're going to have to get involved in. It's like while you're working with the ACLU, contacting the local news organizations, and just saying your truth, just saying this is what's happening. I care about these kids and their education, and I'm just trying to help them have fun and build like social like connections with one another and contribute to the community, because you said you want to like make and distribute food as like a community good, and they're just not letting you. So all of this, frankly, is like the perfect kind of story. And you are kind of the perfect person to be at the center of that as like a cis white man. You've been a teacher for a while, and for you to be punished like this and be potentially screwed out of a long-term career beyond this, I think that would be a good spin for an organization like the ACLU to latch on to.
Absolutely. You got a whole like reverse cancellation thing, right? Like
Mhm.
the right was for years complaining about how if they said, the T slur on Twitter, that they would lose their job and they were just the biggest victims of cancel culture. And then here you are having your career destroyed, not because you teach LGBTQ stuff, not because you are a school counselor who told a kid that they were trans, but because you ran a group that happened to have a high representation of queer people in it. Like, that is the epitome of cancel culture. Yeah, I think there's definitely something there that can be jumped on. And while the cops may have some sort of rules about your social media posts, I completely agree with Lux. Go to the news. The news can report it as much as they fucking want. And that's the kind of shit they love. Like, oh, we can't speak up for this guy, or, this guy can't speak up for himself. Like, yeah, that could be a really good story. So, I don't know. Yeah, you got something there, Brandon.
Sorry, I lost you. My phone went to sleep.
Oh, no, that's all right. You can watch it back and catch anything you missed, but I do think going to the news is a good option. Is the summary of what I said. So,
well, I appreciate both of you giving me the time, and it was good. It feels good to talk to two people that I know are allies, because around here, it's just you're by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. We depend on people like you in communities like that. So thank you, Brandon. I appreciate your time.
I know. And one thing, I just need to say one thing before I go. You
Sure.
got to say it. One, Matt, you're gay, homie. And two,
Sure.
tell Jimmy to go fuck himself.
Sure.
Right on. Thanks, Brandon.
Right.
See you later.
All right.
Right on. Yeah, I think it's just in so many areas that kind of stuff is just a complete display of hypocrisy, right? Like, it's like satanic panic, free speech problems, cancel culture. It's like everything they claim to be against happening to one individual.
Hey, if you liked that clip, you'd love the whole thing. Hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, patreon.com/calltheline. That one sucked. Use it.